All right, let's talk about Paris. Specifically, how to conquer the amazing Parisian food scene, even if you're feeling, well, a little nervous about it. We're going to break down some of the most delicious foods to try and turn that feeling of intimidation into a seriously delicious adventure.
Okay, let's just dive right in. Does the thought of trying to figure out a Parisian menu feel like a huge challenge? You see words like escargot or confit, and maybe your palms get a little sweaty. Well, if that's you, you are definitely not alone.
You see, our guide for this whole journey is Sara from the blog Journey of Doing, and she calls herself a recovering picky eater. She found that traveling, especially to a place like Paris, was the perfect way to grow and try new things. And her experience is what we're going to lean on today.
So, let's totally reframe this whole thing. This isn't some scary challenge you have to overcome. Nope, it's a delicious adventure. We're going to build a kind of roadmap, starting with safe, familiar bites, and then leveling up to those rewarding Parisian classics that'll make your trip unforgettable.
So, where do we begin? We're going to take our first delicious step at the easiest, most universally beloved entry point into French food, the Parisian bakery, or boulangerie. This is where you start building that culinary confidence.
First, a key term you'll see everywhere is Viennoiseries. Now, these are not just any old pastries. We're talking about the flaky, buttery, layered masterpieces like the croissant and the pain au chocolat. And get this, they can take up to 3 whole days to perfect.
And listen, here's a pro tip for finding the absolute best croissant. You're actually looking for a little imperfection, yeah. If all the croissants in the case look exactly the same, all flawless and identical, they're probably made by a machine. You want the ones that look like a real person made them.
Now, you absolutely have to get a classic croissant. But don't stop there. Keep an eye out for these other incredible options. Almond croissants are a huge favorite of our source, Sara. The Paris Brest is this amazing choux pastry with praline cream. And if you happen to be there during the holidays, the bûche de Noël is an absolute must.
All right, you've mastered the bakery. Feeling good, right? Now that your confidence is up, let's dig into some savory dishes that are super comforting, probably pretty recognizable, and just ridiculously delicious. Think familiar flavors, but with that classic French flair.
First up, soup à l'oignon, French onion soup. And I mean, forget any version you've had before. The real deal is this rich, meaty broth, full of sweet, cooked-down onions, with this glorious, gooey cap of melted Comté cheese on top. On a cool day, it's basically a hug in a bowl.
Next up is beef bourguignon. Now, technically, this dish isn't from Paris, it's from Burgundy, but you'll find it on menus everywhere. It's this rich, hearty beef stew that is so satisfying. And honestly, it's often a pretty inexpensive meal in what can be a very expensive city.
Okay, you're ready. You've had the pastries, you've enjoyed the comfort food. Now it is time to level up. Let's talk about the foods that might seem a little intimidating at first, but are so worth trying. These are your exciting culinary milestones.
The cheese counter in France. Yeah, it can be a little overwhelming. I totally get it. But here's a simple 3-step plan to ease right in. You could start with a class, or just go for an 18-month Comté. It's a hard cheese, a total staple, and not too intense. From there, you can try something softer, like reblochon. Oh man, it is absolutely divine on a warm baguette.
And here is the best part. If you find a cheese you absolutely fall in love with, you can take it home with you. Just ask the cheesemonger to vacuum seal it for you. It is hands down one of the best souvenirs you can bring back.
Okay, next up, escargot. Let's just forget the snail part for a second and focus on what this dish is really about. It's a vehicle for the most incredible garlic butter parsley sauce you will ever have. And hey, if the shells are freaking you out, look for restaurants that serve them without. It's the perfect way to ease in.
Now for what might be the final boss for a lot of people, duck confit. Our source Sara even admits she probably never would have tried duck if she hadn't started traveling. But when it's made right, it is a work of art. We're talking crispy skin on the outside with unbelievably tender, succulent meat inside, usually served with amazing garlicky potatoes. And this right here brings us to the single most important piece of advice for ordering not just duck, but also steak in Paris. This is the key. This unlocks the best possible meal you can have.
So what is that key piece of advice? It is so simple. Trust the chef. That's it. They are the experts. Don't ask for your steak well done.
Let them cook it the way it's meant to be cooked, and I promise you, you will be rewarded with a meal that is unbelievably flavorful and tender.
And this exact same advice is absolutely crucial when you order another must-try dish, steak au poivre. When you trust the chef, you'll get a perfectly cooked steak smothered in one of the most delicious, flavorful peppercorn and cognac cream sauces you will ever taste in your life.
After all that savory success, it is time for the final reward. You've been brave, you've been adventurous, and now it is time for the ultimate payoff for all that culinary bravery, a truly classic French dessert.
We're talking, of course, about the soufflé. This dessert is famously difficult to get right, which is exactly why having one in Paris is such a special treat. It's made from whipped eggs, butter, and flour, and when it's done perfectly, it's like eating a light, airy, golden-crusted cloud.
Now, a chocolate soufflé is always a fantastic choice, but the classic, the one you absolutely have to try at least once, is the Grand Marnier. It's an orange liqueur that just perfectly complements that light, fluffy texture of the dessert. It's incredible. And just like that, by taking these steps, you've gone from being a cautious eater to a confident culinary adventurer. You've turned that feeling of apprehension into a delicious journey of discovery, one incredible bite at a time.
So the only question left is, what's going to be your first delicious adventure? Are you starting with that perfectly imperfect croissant, the cheesy onion soup, or are you going to jump right in with the duck confit? The choice is all yours.